Law enforcement, be aware. You know what we're doing in Afghanistan. What we were doing in Afghanistan. We're running a police state. Martial law for the most part, right? Just so happens that we bring all of our troops home when the streets are running crazy because of tyrannical rules, laws, and mandates being put into effect, right? The military has been pretty much training to bring what they were doing in Afghanistan right back here and doing the same thing here. But the police, they got it covered now, right? For how long? And I think that's the point. There's going to come a time where the switch is flipped. They're going to have to make it to where the public is wanting it. They have to have an excuse, a reason, a justifiable reason to bring military in to patrol our streets. And that reason is coming up. It's being set up now. Law enforcement, you gotta see the public that does not want this inoculation. They view this as a life or death situation, a violation of their free will, likely resulting in the death of them and or their loved ones. So they are going to be taking this very seriously. And at some point, if it is being pushed too hard and too far, the public will lash back out. And you haven't seen the public lash out yet. Honestly, you haven't. See, the powers that be, they know that law enforcement is vastly outnumbered and vastly outarmed here in America. They have set it up to where the public knows, or at least the ones of us aware, which is a lot of people that are waking up now. We are fully aware of what the jibby jab does, what the plan for it is, and that law enforcement is fully planning on actually enforcing these tyrannical mandates and laws. Guys, you are being used as an excuse to bring in the military. You are being used as a pawn in their game. They view you as expendable, disposable, a resource that is a means to an end. And that end being to bring the military in to patrol the streets under martial law or a police state. But it won't be you, the law enforcement, that's policing the state. No. The military isn't going to be coming in to assist law enforcement, no. They're coming in to replace you. And that doesn't mean that you're just going to be taking a vacation and staying at home either. No. Again, you're not just an excuse. You are the reason. See, the public have to see and demand that it be taking place. They have to see a justifiable reason to bring in some kind of police state like that from the military. What's that reason going to be? Well, because law enforcement is about to become public enemy number one for a life and death situation that is viewed as life and death situations by a semi-informed public, at least. Even if it's not, it's viewed that way. But guys, it will literally be your lives on the line once you start hauling people off, mandating this or that, kidnapping people and throwing them into cells or forcing inoculation, the public's not going to take too kindly to it, and there is a switch that will be flipped at some point, and the powers that be have planned this all along. They want the public to start taking you out. Understand? That alone would be enough reason to start bringing in the military to replace the police force. Perfect timing, really, huh? With everything going on. You often see, for years and years and years, see all these coming home videos of troops getting off their planes and buses, meeting their families with their signs and their tears of joy and so glad to see you, and hugs and kisses and all. Where are those? Where are all those videos? Because I haven't seen one. Not one. Now, they might be out there. Maybe I've just missed them, but not like I look for them. But I think there's a reason that they're not too popular right now. It's because, well, they're not going home. They're not going back to their loved ones and their families. No. They're simply being reassigned to do the same thing here as they were doing over there. Exactly what they've been training to do for the last 20 years. And what they've been training the Taliban to do in the last 20 years. A lot of little video clips out there of military equipment being shuffled around the railroad tracks around all over the United States. Why? Well, it's because it's a part of the plan. They are fully expecting it, planned for it. They want this to happen, and they will make it happen. Some of these idiots in the public, it doesn't take much for them. One or two fake news stories about the police and law enforcement being completely overrun and overthrown, completely taken out in some areas, will be enough to spark that in many, if not all, other cities and other areas across the country. Following that example from the media, we see it all the time. Guys, I know you have your orders to follow, and I know it's your whole way of life, your paycheck on the line, your job on the line. But I'm telling you right now, it's not going to matter here pretty soon. You're going to have to make that choice, and that choice is going to have to be made fairly soon, so you guys better be thinking about that. Are you going to remain a public servant? Or are you going to go the other way and enforce tyrannical mandates, laws, restrictions, and all this that is going to be retaliated against? You can see it already. How long before these protests turn into, well, you know what they're about to turn into if things are pushed too much harder? Are you going to allow the powers that be to get you killed in the name of something that you don't even agree with in the first place? You don't want to violate other people's free will? If you don't agree with these mandates and restrictions, you're gonna enforce them anyways, and end up letting you or your partners or your co-workers, your fellow officers, get assaulted by the very public that you are trying to protect, that you vowed to protect. All enemies, foreign and domestic, and it is time you realized who those real enemies were. And if you haven't recognized that by now, really not sure you should be in law enforcement. I don't know if you've realized this, but there are a lot of choices out there right now that people are forced to make one way or the other. The great divide is now, and people are having to choose, and we are forced to choose one way or the other. And it's no different from you guys. The choice is being forced upon you. Either you're going to support free will, or you're going to choose to violate free will. And your career is going to be on the line. But remember, your life is on the line as well. You don't think the powers that be won't make it so? Again, you haven't been paying attention. Here's a side note you might not have thought about, but how long do you really think that they can hide what the jibby jab is really doing? What's going to happen when all these people that have gotten the jibby jab start noticing their co-workers, friends, family, and loved ones starting to drop like flies, and put it together that, well, I think I know what's doing this. The media can't hide it forever. They're going to have to come out with something. So again, how are these people going to act when they find out that it could be any moment for them? They could only have so long to live. What are these people going to do? How are they going to act? How are they going to respond to public servants like yourself? It's just coming down to where the constitutional rights really don't have anything to do with anything anymore. All right, this is human rights on the line. Human free will. That's something that you do not want to mess with. This is nothing to be going to court over. People take this very personally, and we will protect it with our lives. Don't be sacrificing yours in the name of some mandate. I'm hoping all of you guys make the right choice. Start viewing this in the perspective of humanity, other than, patriotic. Because it is truly a new era, a new time in the world. We've also seen the military being forced out if you refuse the jibby jab. So they're refusing you access to arms and supplies and equipment unless you're inoculated. Hope the police force doesn't take a similar route, because they are doing everything they can to put freedom fighters and people that want true liberty and liberation from this tyrannical rule at as big of a disadvantage as they can possibly put us in. It's time you see it coming. If you see it coming, you need to be thinking about it. This isn't a choice you're going to have to be putting off. You should know what you're going to do before you are forced to do something. Have your response, your reply, your tactic, whatever you need to do, have it ready to go. Truly hope to see most of law enforcement fighting for our side, our freedoms, and not violating our free will. Because that's something that even after death, you'll be paying with through suffering. The suffering will not stop for you if you start violating people's free will. When the public starts to see it as a life or death situation, how long will it take before the peaceful protests are a little different response when they see law enforcement as assisting genocide. Make your stands now. I'll give him his cameo. Cameo! And he's gone. Alright guys, I'll leave you to it. The next one, I've already got it ready, honestly. It's about the FEMA camps. And something about it just doesn't quite make sense. Be sure to check that out. Whenever I get the chance to post it up, I will do so. Till then, everybody just be wary, be leery. Open your eyes, see what's going on. Stay vigilant. Love you all. Catch you in the next one.